The world's economic woes can be solved by empowering women, according to the UN's International Trade Centre. During a visit to Australia, the ITC's Executive Director, Arancha González, says levelling the playing field is crucial to solving poverty and advancing economies. I spoke to her earlier from our Canberra studios.
Well, it matters because when we empower women economically, it makes for stronger economies, it makes for more competitive businesses, and it makes for reduction of poverty at the household level. It's a very powerful way to end extreme poverty, which is what the United Nations countries have agreed to do by 2020, ending extreme poverty. Empower women economically, and you can get there fast and in an inclusive manner.
Let's look at the Australian context now, because the debate about the representation of women here seems to focus on the upper echelons of the economy, on boards and in management, for example. Is women's economic empowerment below that level a problem in Australia?
Well, I think Australia has a problem, for example, with equal pay for equal job. And that is for the top, for the medium and for the bottom. I think when we talk women's economic empowerment, it has to be all-encompassing. In some countries, it's going to be focused more on the bottom because the problems are bigger at the bottom. For example, in a country that I visited this week, in Fiji, it matters a lot because this is essential to end extreme poverty. This is essential to empower farmers, very poor smallholders. In a country like Australia, it matters. It matters probably not so much to end extreme poverty, but rather to make sure that the assets that the Australian economy has, half of these assets being women, are put to full use at a time when the world is looking at mediocre growth. This is something we should not be missing.
Through your work and research, which countries are best empowering women in their economies?
Well, I am very fond of what a country called Rwanda is doing to empower women. It's doing it at the top, putting more women in parliament. It's putting it that at the middle, empowering more small and medium enterprises, and it's doing it at the bottom, empowering poor farmers to be part of mainstream economics. That's a good example. It's probably not the one you and I would first think of, but it's one that is taking place. It's one of the poorest countries in Africa and is getting it right. And what matters is that the top leadership, the business, civil society is in sync to get this done. This is the recipe for success. Putting all the stakeholders around the table and making sure they all see eye to eye to get it done.
Okay, Arancha González, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you again for your time.
A pleasure.